So here I will be starting with the introduction to data science, and then I will be moving ahead with the libraries. So first of all, what is data science? So data science means data gathering, analysis, and decision making. So the main aim behind data science is to find meaningful patterns in the data, find hidden patterns from the data, and make future predictions or do some kind of analysis through that. So using data science, companies can make better decisions. They can do predictive analysis, like they can predict what will happen next. They can do pattern discoveries, like they can find the pattern, like they can find some useful information from the data. So that is what is known as data science. So where is all data science needed? So today data science is needed by all the industries like banking, consultancy, healthcare, and manufacturing. So some of the examples where data science is required are, like, if you want to predict the delay for a flight or train, you want to foresee the delays. So that is done through predictive analysis, like we are predicting the future outcome. Then if you want to forecast the next year's revenue for a company, or you want to predict who will win elections. So in all the, like, suppose if I want to predict the like bank loan frauds, like sometimes, so based on the data set we can do all these kind of predictions. So data science is required today in all the industries. Like for cyber security, we also need data science because there are so many cyber crimes happening nowadays. So in banking also, and in healthcare also, we need data science. So that is the applications of data science. So how does a data scientist actually work? So as a data scientist, the first thing a data scientist has to do is they had need to ask the right questions to understand the business problem. Means they need to understand the business problem before directly working with the data. The next thing is to collect the data. Now data has to be collected from various sources, like from database, customer feedback, through surveys. Then the third is to transform the data to a particular format. Now when you collect the data is not in a correct form, so you need to convert it into a correct form. Then cleaning the data means you need to remove the wrong values. So sometimes when we download the data, there are some values which are not related to that particular data set, so we need to remove them or we need to replace them. Then finding and replacing the missing values. So in data science we cannot work with null data, means we cannot work with empty data. So either we need to replace them with some other value or we need to remove them. Then we need to normalize the data. Normalizing means scaling the values in a particular range. Now, suppose I have a data set where I have the age and salary. Now, as we know that salary is in a very big range and age is just a two-digit number. So they are not in the same range. So when we work in data science, whole data set should be in a same range. It's not like one value is in some another range and one is in some another range. Then we need to analyze the data, find the patterns, and make future predictions. So once we have done all these steps of working with the data, normalizing, cleaning, extracting, we analyze the data. As a data scientist, the data needs to be analyzed to find meaningful information from the data. And then finally, the data scientist has to represent the result in a meaningful way so that the company or the client can understand. So we have talked about data science, how a data scientist work, but we should also know that what is this data which we are talking about. So data is a collection of information. It can be any type of information. It can be a textual data, or it can be a video form data, an audio form of data. So everything is a data nowadays. Data is very important today to understand the nature of consumer liking, or to understand, let's say I want to understand how my business will be growing ahead in the future years. Data is very important because without the data, any business cannot grow further. They cannot understand they cannot understand how a consumer is actually uh, going to like a particular product. So that is why data is very important. So data can be through any form. It can be audio data, video data, and image type of data. Now, the purpose of data science is to structure that data, make it interpretable and easy to work with. So data can be categorized into two groups. One is structured data and another is unstructured data. So structured data is in a organized form and it is easier to work with, whereas unstructured data is not organized and we must organize the data for analysis purpose. So now I'm going to show the working of a library called numpy, which is used in data science with Python, where so why do we so first of all I will introduce with the numpy library. So numpy stands for numerical Python and it is a package for doing numerical computations in Python. So why do we need this numpy arrays? Because it is used to store huge amounts of data. Now you might be thinking that we can store data in a list also or in a tuple also, but no. In data science we have huge amount of data and lists are very slow in retrieving that data. So that is the reason we need numpy, because numpy provides us with arrays and they are much faster than list. So here I will be showing how do we work with numpy arrays. So I'm going to open Jupyter Notebook. So here I will be creating a new notebook. Now, numpy is a library in data science. So I'm going to import it first. And I have given an alias, a short form to this numpy library as NP. Now, with numpy, we can create numpy arrays. So how do we create a numpy arrays? We use np.array function. And we can pass a list here. So you can see that it is giving an array. Okay. So you can create an array of any data type. Let's suppose I want to create an array of floating type. So you can provide d type as float. Okay. Then now numpy provides us with various useful functions, like the first function we have is, okay, before talking about the functions, I would like to tell about the different dimensions of array numpy arrays. Now this is a one dimensional numpy array because we only have a single row. Let's suppose I have more than one row. So I will be writing like this. We will give two square brackets here. So this means there are more than one row. It is a 2D array. So now in numpy arrays, if I want to access any element, I can use the indexing. So now this, in this array C, we have rows and columns, means we have three rows and we have three columns. So let's suppose if I want to access two from this array. So I will write array name. So index of two, so the row of two is 0 because it is the first row, and row column of two is 1 because it is the second column. So it will give us 2. So this is the way we can access elements in a numpy array. Now we can create a numpy array from various other functions. So the first function is line space. Line space function in numpy returns equally spaced numbers within the given range based on the sample number. So let's suppose I want to create a numpy array using this function. You can write np.line space. So you will pass a start value. Let's say I want to start from 1. Then you will pass a stop value. Let's say I want to go till 5. And then how many samples you want to generate between 1 and 5, you can pass here num as, let's say, 10. Means I want to generate 10 samples from 1 to 5. So we can see here it has generated 10 samples in the range of 1 to 5. Similarly, we have one more function in numpy which is A range. Now, a range function is similar to the function of the range function in Python, which we use in for loop. It also generates an array of in a particular range, but here we can also provide a step value because in line space we cannot provide a step value. So I'm going to create start from 1, top equals to 10, and I'm giving a step value, let's say 2. That means it will give every second next number starting from 1. So if we check this ARR2, it is giving 1, then 3. So it is giving every second number, not the next number. It is skipping the next number in the sequence. Then if you want to generate an array filled with ones, you can use the ones function for that. np.ones. You can describe the size here. Like if you want to generate an array filled with ones of size, let's say 3 by 3, like 3 rows and 3 columns. So you can write like this. So this way we can do. Similarly, if you want to generate an array filled with zeros, you can use np.zeros. And here also you need to write the size. Let's say I write 2 comma 3. So it will fill the array with zeros of size 2 rows and 3 columns. So if you want to generate an array filled with random values, you can use random.rand function. So we can write here np.random.rand and we will provide the size here. So just provide the size like 2 comma 3. So it will create the array with filled with random values of size 2 rows and 3 columns. So this is how numpy array is used for. So it is used to store huge amount of data. Now there is one more library in data science which is very useful for doing data manipulation, which is known as pandas. Now pandas is a library which helps to provide you few data structures which store or manage the data efficiently. And so pandas library can be used to uh, like used to store data like relational data, like a data in form of tables where you have labels also, means data will have a name as well. So we are going to just see what are the two data structures pandas provides us. So they are series and data frame. Now, series is a data structure of pandas library, but it can hold only one-dimensional data. It cannot hold more than one dimension of data. So it can hold any type of data. So let's see how do we create a series in pandas. So first of all, you have to import the pandas library. To create a series, you will write pd.series and you can just pass a list here. So here you can see that these are the indexes. So in series, whenever we store the data, it gives the data with indexes. So you can access any value using the index. So let's suppose if you try to pass a dictionary here, then what will happen? Okay, before that, we can actually make the index of any data type. We can also create the indexing of string type. You can write here index equals to A, B, C, D, E, because there are total 5 values, so we have given 5 indexes like this. So now if you want to access any value, you can just write S2 of index E. So it is giving 4. Now suppose I create a series inside, I create a dictionary inside this series. what will happen? The keys will become the indexing and the values will remain as the values, the rows, like this. So in series, we can only hold one dimension of data. Now, Pandas provides us with one very, very important and useful data structure, which is known as data frame. In data frame, you can store two-dimensional of data. So let's suppose, how do we create a data frame? So we will write pd.data frame. Now, suppose I want to store the names and age of few people. So I'm going to take a dictionary where name will be the list of names here. And we have the age. So you can see now the data is also having a label. These are the label, name and age. So it is able to store the data in a relational form. Relational form means in the form of rows and columns. So now suppose if you want to access only the name column, so you can just write here df of name. Let's say you want to access a particular row. So you can write df of df.ilog and the row number like 1. Okay. So that is how we work with data frame.